I'm Samuel Seacat. I will be presenting over how to create and implement a safe and inclusive learning environment into the classroom. A variety of diversity factors are important to be recognized and studied when designing lesson plans, expectations, and standards for students. 9 factors are examples of what to consider when creating these classroom elements, and these include cultural heritage, gender identity and expression, ethnicity, sexual orientation, language abilities, disabilities, religion, and socioeconomic status. Sexual orientation is a diversity factor that has the potential to impact a student's mental health. Students of the LGBTQI plus community often face stigmas, rejection, or bullying from peers and possibly even family members. These possible effects for individuals in this community can be higher rates of anxiety, depression, and as much as suicidal thoughts. Race, ethnicity can be a factor that impacts a student's mental health. Students of minority races often face discrimination and bias that can lead to decreased rates of engagement and lower academic motivation, which can lead to lower test scores and overall grades. Students of minority religions often experience exclusion from different activities and social situations, which coincide with misunderstandings and pressure from peers to conform to mainstream religion and societal expectations. Students of lower socioeconomic status can face many challenges when it comes to academic and social development. Students with this classification often face higher levels of stress, anxiety, and have less opportunities when it comes to early education. This puts them behind their peers in grades K to 12 due to the lack of foundation of skills and knowledge. This can lead to impaired cognitive development, decreased memory, and larger challenge when it comes to emotional regulation. Disabilities often impact a student's social emotional health. Students with disabilities often encounter stigma, social isolation from peers, and educators often have bias that lead towards lower expectations. These lower expectations lead to slower development in various areas, including academics, social, emotions, and a variety of others. Stigma, lower expectations, and social isolation often lead to negative effects, including anxiety and depression. Major national events have tremendous impacts on students, and specific events that happened recently that has impacted students over the past 5 years was a COVID-19 global pandemic. The social emotional health impacts on students caused increased levels of anxiety and fear of illness. The society these students grew up in made a whole population of youth believe the outside world was not a safe place to stay healthy. Social isolation led to higher rates of loneliness and depression during the pandemic. Students who were not in supportive homes missed opportunities to work with school counselors, supportive teachers, and participate in extracurricular activities that are so important for a child to develop a wide variety of skills, such as collaboration, open-minded thinking, and physical activity. Remote learning is also a tough challenge for many students who are especially students who are underperforming. ENL, special education, and younger students. The effects of this included delayed development, decreased motivation to engage in the learning process, and many other variety of factors. Educators have the duty to understand traumatic situations that some of their students may go through and help support these students. One way to do so is by building strong relationships with students. Teachers should create safe and supportive environments where students feel understood, heard, and motivated to perform to the best of their ability. This can also help students regulate their emotions, which can lead to lower levels of stress and anxiety. This will overall help the students develop both emotionally and academically to raise their test scores and their grades. Students from traumatic situations, like most youth, thrive from routine and clearly set expectations. Students need structure to feel comfortable and mentally prepared to perform to the best of their ability. Creating these routines often leads to lower levels of stress and anxiety, which can lead to higher test scores and better grades. Yet another trauma-informed practice to implement into the classroom is letting students have control over their own education. Higher levels of engagement are often a result of flexible classroom, where students' creativity is encouraged. Letting students choose how they want to convey their projects, such as posters, presentations, or even writing reports, can make a student feel like they are directly involved in how they are being educated. First, childhood experiences such as abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction require support from educators. Students need to build skills to cope with the stress of their lives to develop a healthy, positive self-esteem. ACEs have a direct effect on learning. Brain development is often slowed, which harms a student's memory, engagement, and often the student will lack a desire to participate. Behavioral challenges, higher levels of absence, lower academic performances, and higher dropout rates are common from youth going through these situations. So it is so important for teachers to support and find strategies to overcome these barriers. The City of Indianapolis has a large number of mental health resources dedicated to support the youth of the city. Some examples of these resources include the Youth Services Bureau of Indianapolis, the Eskenazi Health Pediatric Behavioral Health Services, and Mental Health America of Indiana. Each organization has their own set purpose, from counseling, crisis intervention, mental health evaluations, and supporting minority communities to increase their mental health, to help them develop their skills and be better students and overall better human beings. Social emotional learning is a strategy that can help overcome all these barriers and all these challenges that students often go through from their home lives or from their past lives. Many educators across the world have used this strategy to assist students in understanding how to manage their emotions in a healthy way. Students from traumatic situations need guidance to gain vital skills to support their development and ability to overcome these situations. Skills such as resiliency, self-care are so important for students to learn as young as possible to lead to better lives than where they came. Teachers need to have set strategies when implementing social emotional learning into their classrooms. Morning checks, modeling emotion regulation, directly SEL lessons into the curriculum can help develop traits such as empathy, create problem-solving skills, and positive reinforcement can help ensure these skills and traits stick for many years to come into their adult lives. The information from this presentation was directly supported by the American Psychological Association, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning from CASEL, and the National Child Traumatic Stress Network. Thank you.